Hello out there. Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 76. I am your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Chris Seeley
Hey everyone, what's up?
and Brett Murdoch.
Hey, what's up, people?
All right, Brian may or may not join us. Who knows? He may still be hungover after St. Patrick's Day and shit. That's the reason he couldn't join us on main Throwdown. And Manny's still in Chi-Towns, so it's just us three. And by the way, as always, we had a really, really awesome conversation before the show that we didn't record. These things happen. Hey, we got a ton of questions.
Not super awesome. It was mildly embarrassing for me just because I realized my timescape of comic books is like 10 years dilated.
Yeah, you have a really weird. Like I said, we were talking about the whole Daredevil thing. Like, Brett, you guys heard him on the show. Brett was like I don't know about this Daredevil. He's so like moody and angry. So I'm like, you mean the way he's always been? Because Brett was reading old fucking Daredevil, like before people gave a shit about Daredevil. That's the stuff he was reading. It's hilarious. So, Brett, you remember guys like Stiltman and Gladiator and stuff?
Well, yeah.
See, those chump guys and the Purple Man.
Well, that's who the Daredevil fight. That's who Daredevil fights. Is like these weird, like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, most of the time he fights the B team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, until Frank Miller came in, that was literally 1980, and then, he was like, oh yeah, let's have him fight crime. Put him against the Kingpin. What are we doing with the Kingpin? He's not doing anything in Spider-Man. He's the main villain now. Hey, we haven't used the Punisher. Bring him on, Like, hey, let's make this guy crazy. I have some shit to say about Daredevil, but I'll save that for a spoiler alert. But anyway, I will just say this. The guy on the TV show is more hinged than the guy in the comics. The guy in the comics is always this, like, close to snapping, and he frequently does that, too, but that's what makes Daredevil fun. He's fucking crazy. All right, anyway, fan questions. We got a ton of them. This may be the third week in a row where Final Stage Boss gets beaten. Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on here, guys. This is serious now, man. All right, so Mike Madden asks us the first question. Only counting full-price retail games. This means full games, $60. What is the ratio of your physical and digital games? He says, I have 11 physical games and 7 digital. I'm guessing he's just talking about PS4. So we're going to just relegate it to current-gen consoles. Keep it nice and clean. Chris, go ahead, man. What's your ratio?
The ratio is very skewed for me towards physical games. So between PS4 and Xbox One, I have 24 physical games, and full-price digital games between both consoles only have 5. So that's that's way. I'm just old school. Like I really don't buy full-price games digitally yet until I'm forced to. I still buy discs, so that's why.
Yeah.
If you was to make this like throw indie stuff in there, then it goes way over to digital. Then it's like a ton of like small games.
All right. As far as me, again, I'm just going on PS4 right now. I kind of forgot to check Xbox. I have 18 physical and 13 digital. I was kind of surprised by that one. I thought I had more digital physical, and more digital full games, but I actually have way more. Like, if you count my digital games, all digital games, I probably have upwards of 50, right? But since we're only talking about full $60 AAA games, it's only 13 of those. All right, Brett, what about you? Mr. Brett. Brett, you're on mute, man.
We lost Brett.
Yeah. Sorry, I was on mute on the wrong thing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I have 2 fucking mute buttons and I'm toggling between them. I only have a handful of digital games because, honestly, I sell games back. Like, I know a lot of people don't like the used game market, but video games retail, they keep their price artificially higher than digital games do, at least on the PC market. So a lot of times I sell back a game if it doesn't, if I don't really hit on it, or I just know I'm not going to play it. Like, there's those games that you finish, you're like, well, that was fun. I'm never going to do this again. Like Heavy Rain. Perfect example. Like, oh, done that. That was great. I can't really do that again, so I'll sell it back. So I only have a handful of physical or digital games. So I think like 6, and I only keep the games that I really like, that I feel like I'm going to go back and play again, or I have nostalgic value to, because otherwise I'll just hoard the motherfuckers. So probably about 20 games at a time. More than that, I try and sell them off. Also, I when buying and selling games, especially, your timetable is important. So, I play games oftentimes new. So if I play a game, beat it 3 weeks later, and I'm like, yeah, this is just not something I'm going to pick up again, then I'll sell it while it's still actually worth money. So I generally try not. I don't keep a huge reserve of games because it depreciates so hard in value, and it just ends up being a huge money sink if you don't manage it right.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not those guys, man. I'm like, no, I bought it, my game, mine. I'm keeping it. Unless the game is trash, I'm not selling it. It's like mine,
Yeah.
mine.
No, dude, I absolutely understand that, but if you're honestly not going to play it again, you're wasting value.
Oh no, dude! I wish I was like you. I wish I could just sell these games off. I have a ton of games that I got platinums for. I'm never gonna play them again. But I'm like, no, mine. You know, you know what I mean? I wish I could be that dude, but
Dude,
I can't.
it's hard. You have to act like it's weird. Like, cause I'll get guff from other people. It's like, you don't understand. Like, I'm fighting my knee-jerk reaction to just hoard this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be like, dude, I've got like between like maybe I picked up I picked up The Witcher. The game just wasn't for me. Combine that with a couple other games that were sitting in my bookshelf. It's like there's like $80 right here. That if I wait another 3 months, it's going to be like $13 because that's the way the used game market works. So
Yeah.
I may as well fucking turn this in, buy myself a video game, and get half of a pre-order on a game that I really super want. Meanwhile, like, I'm pre-ordering the shit out of Dark Souls because I can pre-download it, I can play it an hour early, and I know that that's never going anywhere. So I'm not stressing about it.
Yeah, man, I wish I could do that. All right, next up, all right, here we go. Final Sage Boss shows up. After all that's happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, do you agree with the Superhero Registration Act? Basically, are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Woo, good question.
Well, I'd say I'm a bit slanted because I read Civil War years before this movie came out, and I was on Captain America's side. I thought the Registration Act, he compared it to like what the Nazis did, taking away freedom and stuff, and they were kind of setting that up in the last movie in Winter Soldier. Remember when Nick Fury shows him the super carriers and stuff, and that we'll be able to kill terrorists before they do anything, and he's like, oh, this isn't freedom, it's fear. That's kind of what's borrowing from the comic, right? That's kind of what he said on the helicarrier before he went AWOL, right? So I still agree with that. It's like, but it takes away freedom, and then you have registration, and then it's like a slippery slope, and then where does it stop for heroes or anyone else, So I kind of still agree with Captain America on that one, even in the movie.
Interesting. Brett, what do you say?
I haven't read Civil War, so I'm the one that's actually going into this blind. Man, so much great stuff happened in comics when I took my hiatus. I took a break for a few years, and apparently when I came back, I thought I had just missed nothing, and I missed so much.
Okay, I'll ask you this question because
no. I can answer this actually.
Okay.
Like I'm just giving my answer context.
Okay. Gotcha.
That being said, I would fiercely oppose registering of superheroes because with registration comes oversight, with oversight comes bureaucracy, and with bureaucracy comes inaction. So I'm the kind of guy who firmly embraces the chaos factor. You got to crack a few eggs. Yeah, you're gonna have a superhero go rogue every once in a while. You're gonna have a building collapse. That's highly unfortunate, but otherwise you just end up with a bunch of dictard superheroes, and some weird. Super bureaucratic Nick Fury not actually doing anything. Like, I realize in these universes there's of course a way that they could make an Avengers type team and deploy them effectively, but like if we're asking how do I feel like superheroes off the books work better than superheroes on the books.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question. It's one I haven't been able to answer even since Civil War came out 10 years ago. Like. My stance on it back then was I'm not on either side because I think both sides were being stupid, but that was just because I didn't like the way the story was written. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was just ham-fisted. Go ahead.
You don't trust the government now with internet. Like let's like put this into context. We are talking about giving government power and taking away freedom from people. Like in every instance, like, we're probably against that. I'm not down on the government getting all up in my internet. I'm not down with the NSA getting all up in my information. Like, I am not generally down with government intrusion in public social lives. I do not generally think that's a good idea. And generally speaking, I lean more, I guess, quasi-conservative in the sense that most of these people you leave the fuck alone. So forcing these people to give up their identities just seems like being on board with that seems like the kind of thing someone's like, yeah, yay NSA, and yeah, we should all absolutely register our guns and be on waiting lists, and we should do whatever the government says because they know what's best and absolutely and clearly won't fuck it up. Like, when have you known that kind of thing not to lead to an abuse of power in the real world?
But I think it's a matter of accountability. You have to look at it from that standpoint too, right? It's like, okay, a superhero goes, gets into a battle and creates millions in fucking property damage, right? Who's responsible for that, right? He's not going to be responsible. He doesn't answer to anyone. He does his own thing, right?
Who's responsible for it if they do form a task force?
Well,
who pays for that?
The government would have to pay for that shit. They would have to do all that reconstruction and all that. I'm trying to give you the other side of it. Understand?
Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying property damage is going to happen either way, and like one way you think the government will pay for it, and the other way they shouldn't.
Yeah. See, I didn't understand the point of registration because think about like who's like the characters who do the most damage in the Marvel universe. On top of that has to be the Hulk, right? In all his rampage, all this stuff, everybody knew the Hulk was Bruce Banner. Him registering is pointless, right? No one could stop him, even if the government formed 50 task force. So his main enemy was the army.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump on what you said, Hulk registering. Okay, actually, that goes back to the whole gun registry thing, right? Let's say you have everybody needs to register a gun, right? Hulk is that guy that gets a gun without registering. You know what I mean? That basically what I'm trying to say is it's gonna happen no matter what. Say you have heroes register, right? There's still gonna be some heroes that are like, fuck you, I'm gonna do my own thing. Just like with guns and stuff. Each hero is essentially a weapon that's not controlled by the government. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, but that's the same political argument that keeps brought up. Like, well, why would you not want to let the NSA look through your phone records unless you're not doing anything? Like, here's an idea. How about you wait until somebody actually does something and then restrict their freedoms? How about you have a superhero police task force who then takes down and tracks other superheroes and puts them on a sort of probation if they cause too much public damage? That way they can still do their thing, but are now being supervised, and the ones that fucking don't. Like, that's kind of equivalent to saying, well, why don't we just go ahead and fingerprint every person in the United States? That way we know when a crime happens. Like, because that's a huge invasion of privacy, and you can just wait until somebody fucking does something wrong because we're not trying to prevent future crime here. That's not what this is. Like, there's always that argument of you can give something up and be safer, but then you run into the intrinsic moral and ethical discussions of, well, where do you draw the line? Do you draw the line of like, well, if there's any way to prevent anybody from doing anything bad, then we should stop it, and that means that we should all have government-mandated and oversighted therapy sessions? Like, I realize I'm going to extremes here, but the question still comes up. If you have superpowers, you should register because you have the ability to commit a crime. Next would be, well, you have fingers, so you should register because you also have the. Everybody should register.
Really it's more like, if a regular person has a bad day, right? He may punch somebody else in the face. Superhero has a bad day. He may blow up a block.
But what counts as a superhero? Like, okay, so the Hulk and all these guys count as a superhero. Technically, Tony Stark's not superhuman, but he's on one side of this, so he has to register.
Yeah.
Neither is Frank Castle, right? But does he count? He's super dangerous. They would consider him.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he's just a guy who knows how to use guns really well. He's a soldier, right? But he's not superhuman. But yet he would probably have to register. And so would any guys like him, So then you get to the slippery slope.
So would every
anyone's good with a gun, or like anyone good with a sword, right? And then you're on a Taskmaster. He's not really super powered, but he knows everyone's fighting style.
Especially in the Marvel universe, I take it back to mutants. Should every mutant have to register with the government? That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean that's what they were trying to do in the story too. They all have to register just because they have the X gene. Even if you have an X gene that isn't fucking like activated, you have to register.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me ask question, I don't know. I'll see the movie and I'll answer afterwards. But for the comics, I didn't take a side because I thought both sides were stupid. All right, next question here. If you could change the ending of one game, what would that be?
Mass Effect.
Yeah, well, they did that already.
I change it back,
You
back to
change
the least one, back to the one we knew about.
yes,
Like
take it back to the original one.
yeah, keep that. What we got was bad. Let's see. If that's the default answer, I go Halo 2. Halo 2 ended like crap. Like it didn't even end. It was just like Master Chief said, "I'm finishing the fight," and then credits rolled. There was no ending, right? I was like, "Oh yes, okay, we get to see he's on the truce ship. He's gonna go to the Halo." Nope, nope, credits. That's it. The game ended. Fuck that. That ending sucked.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I know there's been a bunch of games I hated the ending. I just can't think of any. You know?
Transistor.
Oh,
Transistor was
Oh, shit.
such a good game, and the ending was so horrible.
Damn. Okay,
Like,
I didn't
I
finish that one, so I don't know.
okay. Like, spoiler, if you don't want to hear this, now's your chance to tune out for about 45 seconds, and go. Okay, spoiler. Are you ready for this, Chris?
Yeah.
I haven't beaten the game, but whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, my fault for not finishing it. Go ahead.
Yeah, same here. So go ahead.
Okay. Basically, you come to find out that you are an amnesiac lounge singer who had fallen in love with this kind of private eye detective, and the forces that conspired against you had then decided to murder him and in an effort to send you the message. And so the whole game is you going and trying to recover your memories and everything like that. And the entire time, the sword your old lover remembers, and there's this kind of countdown clock that he cannot persist in that universe. And so he's going to die and fade away, leaving her with a loss of everything that she's slowly starting to remember. And the end is basically that he fades away and she dies, and credits roll. And like it's just kind of like, wow, I've been invested in this game, and I feel like somebody just shit in my mouth. I'm gonna go eat some ice cream and take a fucking nap now. Jesus.
Wow. God damn it, I'm disappointed in myself. I can't think of it. I know, but again, Mass Effect 3 was probably easily the most disappointing one I ever felt. It's like, oh my fuck, man, really? Are you kidding me? You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's I don't know, there's a couple I can think of, but and not really good games. Like
yeah, that's what I mean. Like the game was already bad to begin with.
Yeah,
what was a good
Bionic
game?
Commando had a shit ending.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it was a crap game anyway, so whatever.
You know, I guess maybe Assassin's Creed 3, but I had problems with that whole game. You know? But that's the thing. It's like any game ending that I have a problem with, I just had a problem with the game to begin with. You know?
Yeah.
But again, going back to Mass Effect, that's the only one where I love the game until the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say that too. I don't really think it was a bad ending, but I know a lot of people did not like the ending of Arkham Asylum with the Titan Joker. No, a lot of people had a problem with him.
Yeah.
As the last boss.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I just thought it was stupid. I didn't think the ending. I didn't have a problem with how that ended. I just had a problem with him.
Yeah, that was like really fucking yeah, that was dumb. That was stupid. I don't know. All right, anyway, moving on. Next question here. Most games seem to be open world now. He's probably talking about AAA games and stuff. Are you starting to miss the non-open world games like I am? Dude, I beefed about this all last year. Yes. But this year it's been pretty good. It's been a good mix, you know. Like I've been playing non-open world games, but they're still managing to creep in. They're like fucking Division and Far Cry, you know, 2 Ubisoft games, huge ass games and stuff. But there's still other stuff I've been playing that's not open world and stuff. So yeah, thankfully that's not as bad as it was last year. Last year was ridiculous, man. It was like every fucking game was open world. It's like, come on, give me a break here, man. You know?
We'll get some more. We'll get another Tom Clancy game that's open world, Ghost Squad, which was never open world before. It's all of a sudden a huge open world.
Yeah, you know? Right.
And I haven't had a chance. I do want to play Just Cause 3, but I'm waiting for the price to go down. But there's another one.
Man, I ran through that because I just got tired of all the open world. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm just going to run through this real quick, you know? Yeah. But Far Cry Primal kind of brought me back out of it slightly, you know? And Division is good, even though it's open world. It doesn't feel overwhelming like those other games.
Yeah, I do miss some stuff. That's why I'm looking forward to Uncharted.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, simple game, man. You know what you're getting. No frills with that one. You know, it's like I miss that. That's why I love playing Gears of War. I never played Gears of War before. I love playing like, oh shit. Remember when games were like this? Remember when you just pick up a gun and that's the same gun they use from beginning to end? You don't need to upgrade it, all this skill tree bullshit. You know, it's like I miss that shit. You know, but you know, AAA games now like you said, Chris, they have to be Applebee's, right? They have to cater to everybody. So they have to make it open world. They have to do this, they have to do that, all this other shit. You know.
That's why I was shocked about Ghost Squad, man. Ghost Squad was never open world. I looked at the new one. I'm like, you're on a how big of a map now? Holy shit!
Like, come on, man, fuck.
What counts as open world? Does Dark Souls count as open world?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. That's a big world, but the thing is, Dark Souls, maybe not Dark Souls 2, but it's a very deliberately designed world. You know what I mean? It all wraps in around itself, kind of like Bloodborne. I love Bloodborne because of that, man. That deliberate game design. It's not like, okay, here's an open world, go crazy. It's like everything is very deliberate. Everything is very methodical, you know, like the way it's all structured and stuff. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Bloodborne was a little bit more linear than some of the other Souls games, but like, there's always choices that you can make and places that you can go and different order in which you can do things. So I definitely like that kind of open world. Like, my problem is like I'm sick of people making open worlds and then not populating them well. And I'm looking at you, Watch Dogs. Looking at you.
Oh man, yeah.
So like, it doesn't help if you just make an open world, but it's in a shitty game. You know, like I think that's the problem. I'm not sick of open world. I'm just sick of shitty open world. The same way, like I love vanilla, like a good vanilla flavor, like a good crushed vanilla bean, or like a good like vanilla cookie that's actually vanilla flavored. Like that shit is tasty. But I am sick of bullshit non-flavored sugar being like, oh yeah, here's some vanilla. Like, it's not even real vanilla, you motherfucker. And then, so when people are like, "Oh, do you like vanilla?" It's like, I don't know how to answer that because do I like it? Yes. Do I like the abomination that it's become most of the time? Not especially.
Yeah, I think that's my main thing. It's like most of them are kind of the same thing. They're just a giant, hey, go collect shit quest. You know, it's like, okay, can you do something different? That's why I love Far Cry Primal. It's still basically the same thing, but I'm like, I get to be a caveman and ride around on top of a saber-tooth tiger. That's cool. You know, but even with that game, I got to a point like, yeah, I don't feel like clearing all the shit on the map. I'm good, you know, because that's all it is. Like, hey, look at all the shit on your map, and you know me, I'm compelled. Like, fuck, I have to do every single one of these, and then it becomes work.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what happened with me in Far Cry 4. There's this one mission where you have to find this diary of this guy who had landed on the island like years before. Yeah. And it's all, the map is gigantic, right? So you're going all over the island, and I wanted this trophy, so I'm trying to find all this shit. It took forever, you know? And these maps are just getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, man,
yeah, exactly.
That.
All right, moving on here. Keon Mitchell, he goes, "What's up, Throwdown crew? What is up, man? All right, what is your opinion on the Xbox One temporary price cut of $299? Do you think eventually this will be the new price point? Yes, it will be. Just like that will be the price point of the PlayStation 4 eventually. You know,
a temporary price cut seems weird to me.
Yeah, especially now out of all times. It's like, what's happening now to warrant this? Nothing. It's not a holiday. Nothing special. You know, there's no games coming out right now. Maybe that's why, because there's no games coming out. So like, hey, drop the price so people buy our console.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. I think it'd be permanent. It's like, you ever go buy Sleepy's and they're always having a damn sale? It's like, why not just make that the price of your mattresses? You always got 50% off every freaking weekend.
Yeah, man. Sell more shit, you know? All right, anything else to say about that? I think we pretty much hit that one right there.
It will just be at that
Brian!
price.
Oh my God! A wild Brit appears. It's super effective.
Yep, I just thought I'd sneak in here just like a ninja that I am, and then just get in the mingle. Yeah, $299 price cut. It will most likely just be like the new price point. Like that seems to be like what they're doing. Like they cut the price and say, "Hey, price cut for now," and then it'll sell out. And they're like, "Yeah, price cut is permanent now. Deal with it."
Yeah, hey Brian, since you showed up, can you answer the other questions? Because I actually want to hear your take on some of these. Are you cool with that?
Okay, yeah, go on.
Okay, so yeah, basically, are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man with the Registration Act?
I'm Team Hulk.
Team Hulk? Okay, so
honest opinion. Hulk.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, Brian, by the way, that's the closest to my answer, which was, I think they're both stupid. All right. The next one here is, if you could change the ending of one game, what would it be?
Ooh.
I had a hard time with that one too, man.
Ending of man, okay. That I mean to simmer on that one, but I can't really think of an ending that I was like. Okay, my first thought is Dying Light because the ending was just some
Oh
nonsense.
yeah, that's right.
Like that quick time event thing was, it was completely out of left field, completely. Yeah, I say Dying Light.
All right. See, it was over here. Oh yeah. Are you sick of open world games yet?
No.
Okay.
Why not? They're brilliant fun. The giant sandboxes. You know, again, it's just if they're meant to be like open world and they're good, then that's fine with me. And like, I have no issues with open world games. They're just games to me. It's like okay, just that there's more stuff to do when I'm not in the main mission. As long as that non-main mission stuff is fun, then it's all cool with me. And most are. The only exception I think of that wasn't is Watch Dogs.
Yes, we brought that up too.
Oh.
That's the one game. It's like okay, it's like this is the example Brett said. He loves the flavor of vanilla, right? If it's a really good vanilla cookie or ice cream, he loves it. But if it's just sugar on top of shit, and go, oh yeah, this vanilla. It's like no, this isn't fucking vanilla. This is terrible. You're just masquerading as vanilla. So I think the general consensus is like, okay, again, because I kept saying I'm sick of open world games. I'm sick of just the same kinds of open world games. There's all the same shit. Here's a bunch of shit on the map. Go clear it out. It's like fuck.
Yeah,
Right.
that is quite like bad. I'd say that it's more like a sandwich. You know, it's like you have like your main things, which are your bread and your meat, and then how good that sandwich is depends on the stuff that's in there as well. Like, are you throwing tomatoes in there? Are you throwing some lettuce, some onions? Like,
No man, don't forget cheese, man.
what type of cheese are you throwing in there? Like, is it mozzarella? Is it cheddar? Like, what type of sauces are you throwing in there? Like, that's the stuff that makes and breaks the sandwich, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
it's like that with open world games. You know, it's the stuff between the meaty stuff. That's what's important.
Interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you the first question. What's your ratio to physical and digital games?
That's a difficult question to answer
Because you're a PC guy.
Yeah, because again, like all PC games, physical. No, physical are digital. Sorry. So that's that. On PS4, I'd say roughly 60-40, with more to digital than physical. Because I think the only digital ones I own are Bloodborne, Last of Us, and GTA 5.
Oh,
And
physical
Call of Duty
ones, right?
Ghosts.
Yeah.
And digital ones definitely outnumber that because like PlayStation Plus and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the caveat with this question was you could only count full AAA $60 games. Apparently those are the ones that count, Brian.
Why are those the ones that are things? Okay, if you're counting like AAA full $60 games, then I guess 100% physical, since like I don't think that I have any like AAA PlayStation Plus games that are digital. And I generally don't buy PlayStation Plus digital games because they're way over expensive for no reason.
Yeah. All right. Now we're all back on track. So the next question: has there ever been a game to make you cry? Ori and the Blind Forest choked a brother up a bit. No. I guess the closest game I made me feel verklempt was Final Fantasy X with Yuna and the ending and shit. I'm like, man, this is deep. But no crying. It's a video game. We ain't crying.
I'd say the beginning scene in The Last of Us.
Oh man, that was heavy.
Joel's daughter, yeah. That got me choked up. No crying though, but that was deep, man.
Yeah, that made me feel verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh man, Brian, what about you?
Just to contrast that, I was actually like laughing when I seen that because I couldn't believe that they went for something that easy. I was like, wow, you guys just went for something that's that predictable for the first like 10 minutes. It was too predictable. I mean, like, no one had seen her in any of the trailers, and it's like, and then we knew that Ellie was a thing, so it's like, why is this random chick here that like no one seems to know about? Like, unless she dies or she becomes someone else. Like, oh yeah, she's dead. Okay, fair enough. Wow, you guys just made it that obvious. Cool. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know. Like games wise, I generally don't tear up because most games just aren't that great at writing characters that like compel you. Like whenever like most characters die, I'm just like, oh whatever, they're dead. I guess the closest was Kessler in Infamous One, purely because like finding out like who he was and all sorts. I was like, wow, okay, you guys got me there, guys. You guys got me.
All right, Brett.
I'm sorry, I zoned out for a second. What are we up to now?
Has any video game almost made you cry?
Yeah, Transistor.
Yeah, because it was bad.
No, because it was so tragically sad.
But you didn't like the ending.
Yeah, because it was so tragically sad. Like I don't like it's I specifically didn't like it because its ending was and sad tragedy. That's the end. Deal with it. I was like,
oh, okay. I thought you didn't like it because it was like shit. You know?
No, it was a great game, but like it just like there are some people that really relish this kind of unnecessary, unfulfilling tragedy in a story. Like Catcher in the Rye is a perfect example. Like I fucking hate the end of Catcher in the Rye. Like the whole story is bullshit, and it's followed by sad just ending. It's just kind of this weird nihilist approach, and like it's not even like a Romeo and Juliet kind of death. It's just unnecessary and petty and sad, and it doesn't really resolve. It just kind of stops tragically, and like that's the thing. Like the real world is like that. Like you may get hit by a bus tomorrow. There's no reason behind it. Your fucking existence just ends sadly. Like that's the real world. Like I don't need video games that make me feel like that. If I want to feel bad, I'm pretty sure I could YouTube a video of like a homeless person freezing in the street and get my jollies off.
Yeah. Shit.
But like, yeah, it's like that's I don't know, man. It bothers me. Like, it's one thing when you know you're going into a tragedy. It's another thing when like something just turns tragically on you. And I understand that that's part of the spectrum of art, but like, man, sometimes you aren't prepared for that, and it hits you right in the feels. And I suppose that's good. They did their job, and they can be proud of themselves as an artist. But I didn't fucking sign up to be punched in the gut and have the rest of my day ruined. Like that's not why I came here.
All right. The last question here. With Microsoft trying to bridge together the online play aspects of the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, do you think this will stop the stupid fanboyism? No.
No.
Nothing will ever end it. I mean, it would be nice, but no. You know?
I mean, we the litmus test was already the Quantum Break announcement. That it was, PC and you're gonna have cross game stuff. No, they just went crazy. No, it's not gonna help anything.
I don't want to play with those PC guys. Remember that with Street Fighter. Remember, I don't want to play with those guys, man. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to fix anything. It would be nice. It would be great because, seriously, why are we arguing? We're all fucking gamers. But gamers are also stupid, too. So what do you guys say? Brian?
Well, again, it's fanboys. If you'd reason with fanboys, then they wouldn't be fanboys. So,
yes.
Yeah.
This is a great point.
Nothing will make them happy. Unless, like, the other company, like, burns, like, and just quits the market. Yeah. And that's not going to happen, so...
And admits the other company is the better one overall.
Yeah.
It's got to be complete, total defeat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brett, what do you say? Brett's in zone-out mode tonight, boy. Hey, Brett, get your ass in here, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. What the hell's going on your end, dude?
So I'm toggling two mutes, and there's people over. I'm just dropping balls left and right. It's been a stressful weekend for the. I've been in the hospital with Rachel all weekend. Like, I'm fucking tired and jet lagged. I'm sorry, people. My normal air of professionalism is just. No, I couldn't even say that with a straight face. It's just not intact tonight. Okay, so no, I don't think. Like, I think stupid fanboyism will persist because people want stupid fanboyism to persist. I've oftentimes said, like, I think you people seriously just want to hash it out. I think there's some science behind it in the sense that, like, you guys, like, you don't listen. So you have two people that get into a room together, both feeling superior about this thing, right? And you want to paint each other with broad strokes, and then so if I'm a PlayStation fan, I paint an X-Boy fan with broad strokes to say he's a teenager, he's immature, he's all these other fucking things, and then I kind of assemble a tiny little straw man of an Xbox fan in my head, and then I hurl all my PlayStation-loving arguments at it, and I defeat this evil straw man in my head, and it makes me feel good, and then my brain releases a little bit of oxytocin, and then you get into a little circle jerk community where everybody's doing this, and you got a little oxytocin party, which is the bonding chemical. So suddenly people bond together, and they all feel better under this banner. And then you run against another group who's doing the exact same fucking thing from the other side, and now suddenly that straw man is replaced with a very real person who you can't argue down, and logical argument and decorum are eschewed. They go right out the fucking window, and people get pissed because what they're expecting to have this natural chemical brain reward of ding oxytocin is now waylaid by this asshole who likes a fucking Xbox or what have you. So it's this weird, like, mental chemical addiction. Like, it's funny to see how much brain chemicals, like, we release a little, we get a little release of dopamine every time we solve a mystery, which is why we love solving puzzles. So it's a human condition, and I'm not trying to pathologize it or make it seem like an evil thing. It's just, look, if we're not going to put a bridle on this thing and try and calm it down, let's just put a bridle on this thing and fucking ride it. Like, I think I'm convinced sometimes that people want this kind of coliseum of fanboyism where people could just get in there and Canadian bobblehead at each other all they want, and other people can sit out there and just be like, oh, I think so-and-so won, and just make a big fucking spectacle about it. And then anyway, everybody can leave and talk about who won, and there's no clear objective winner. So, like, and everybody gets their jollies off, and everybody gets their little oxytocin, blah, 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 and you can retreat to your separate corners and all circle jerk off together. Like, I understand why it fucking happens, but at the same time, like, I also understand that it's not a byproduct. It's a want. It's a need. They're trying to fill something in the body that makes them feel better than somebody else, and so they're going to argue about something as innocuous as video games, and that's fine as long as you keep it in the realm of, like, innocuous and don't start taking that shit too seriously, as some people have shown.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Next up. Oh, actually, no. Last thing he has to say to us. P.S. As a guy who listens to the show every week and is primarily an Xbox One player, but also owns a PlayStation 4, I don't think you guys. By the way, people, remember he said he is a primarily Xbox player. Please keep that in mind. I don't think you guys say anything that bashes the Xbox brand. I have heard you guys say many positive things about Xbox, and you have also called out Sony on their bullshit. Keep up the excellent work. Thank you for saying that shit, because the only people that we offend with whatever we say about Microsoft are Xbox, because we say the same shit about Sony and especially about motherfucking Nintendo. Well, you don't hear anything when we say anything about those guys. Maybe Nintendo fans, but it's usually directed at Chris.
You know? They love me.
We don't back down from the hate, too. When somebody's like, oh, blah, 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 because Chris just hates Nintendo, like, most of the times Chris is like, well, yeah, kind of. Like, it's when you say we're like, oh, we hate Xbox, and we're like, no, we don't. That's not a reaction to everything. Like, if you go to me and like, Brett, you hate Xbox, I'm like, no, I don't. If you're like, well, you hate Nintendo, I'll be like, okay, you got me there. Like, I kind of do hate Nintendo now. Like, I feel it's for very good reason, but I'm not going to argue the point that Nintendo has the equivalent of a punchable face in my eyes now.
All right, so yeah, thank you for the kind words and letting the people know that's a clear-headed fan right there, not clouded by fucking bullshit, not clouded by fanboyism. All right, next up, Maximum Graphics. We haven't heard from this guy in a while. Hello, Throwdown crew. Here are my questions. One, do you guys ever pay attention to conspiracy theories? This is a fun question. Do you guys ever pay attention to conspiracy theories? I imagine you must be inundated with these in recent months. I'm talking about directed free energy technology used on 9/11, the flat Earth theory. Even Obama chimed in, the lunar wave theory, moon anomalies, CERN supposedly opening a portal to Saturn using their Large Hadron Collider, and others. While I have my own understanding of how things are based on reasoning, science, and all that good jazz, I have to say that theorists are presenting pretty compelling evidence to support their claims. I'll let you guys know. I have a pretty kind of strong opinion on conspiracy theories.
But yeah, I do as well.
I want to. You go ahead, Brett, because I want to know if we have the same thought on conspiracy theorists.
Okay.
And if you do, you may be gonna say what I'm gonna say, but just more eloquently. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna start with, in general, the human species is too dumb to actually perform adequate conspiracies. In the sense of like cloak and dagger, Illuminati, fucking Freemasons, blah 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 blah, that everybody thinks of. It's keeping something that secret and having that kind of much ceremony to it isn't a real world phenomenon. Now, that's not saying that there aren't conspiratorial forces out there. It's just they kind of masquerade themselves as these bland everyday operations. Like, there's no vampire skulking around the shadows and turning into a bat. It's just simply a guy with a blood disorder who works at the hospital and skims off the fucking top. Like, the end result is the same. There's still somebody drinking your fucking blood, but it's not as big a production as you think. Like, there's no Illuminati shadow table with 13 old white men in old cloaks that all look like Emperor Palpatine. There's the fucking Koch brothers. There's the Clintons. There are people obviously and clearly manipulating the forces behind this country, but they're not doing it in secret. The same way that, yeah, there's conspiracies. Like, there's not like a group of people who get together and go, man, we need to bring feminism into video games and undermine everything that these people have brought 20 years to fruition. Like, no, it's not that. It's just a bunch of people kind of in this independent, secular, like, social group who all think they fucking know better and are just pushy shits about it and have somehow convinced people that there is this conspiracy thing. Like, it's the illusion of the monster being cast, and a lot of times it's infinitely more mundane than the fantasy that you play up in your head. But the reality of it is just as grim. It's just as dire, and it's generally the same fucking thing. But, like, there's not a conglomerate of people out there who are trying to convince you, through an organized effort, that climate change isn't real. There's just a bunch of people out there whose motivation is that they don't want you to believe in climate change. And independently, because, like, if it's bad for their business, they're going to lobby. And so they don't even need to get together in a big room. It's just against a well-entrenched money-making industry to recognize this point. So people inevitably, vote with their own motivation. And that's, I think, what it really comes down to is motivation. What motivates people? Even in the sense that, like, with Rachel's cancer treatment, like, she's in a clinical trial right now, and I am keeping in mind during her clinical trial, with dealing with her doctor, that her doctor's best interest is the clinical trial. My best interest is my wife. That does not make the two necessarily align. It doesn't mean that the doctor is out there to try and do experiments on my wife and get as much data as possible so that she can get a medical reward or get this paper or something like that. Like, it's just very simply that, when faced with two options, one of them is going to benefit her. And human beings generally tend to lean towards options that benefit themselves. So to parse it back, again, it's just all this very mundane thing that leads to people following or pursuing their own interests at the expense of this kind of society. Like, somebody makes money fucking over poor people. They're not making money, like, directly fucking over poor people. They're not looking these people in the eye. It's this dissemination of responsibility. I'm hurting somebody somewhere. I press a button and somebody dies and I get $1 million. So yeah, I'm done ranting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense at all?
It made perfect sense, and I'm gonna lead into this, and just people keep in mind that Brett and I have tend to disagree with things, but I let him go first because I knew for a fact, because Brett, even though I disagree with him, he's not fucking crazy. So I knew he was gonna say basically the same shit I was gonna say. So yeah, everything he said, I completely agree with it, but I'm gonna add more to it. Right? Here's the thing. People talk about it. And the funny thing is, I actually had an argument with somebody from the coalition that believes all this stuff. Right? Here's what I said. Listen. Human beings are, by their nature, very petty, right? They will try to take up all the power for themselves as they possibly can. You're trying to tell me that there's a group out there that have been around for possibly thousands of years that have held this much power and it hasn't crumbled. That's not how things work. Think about all the empires of civilization. They've all crumbled when they've gotten so much power. It all comes crashing down. Human beings cannot sustain shit like that, right? And then the nature of human beings is this. Basically, if you think you know something that somebody else doesn't know, it makes you feel good about yourself, right? It makes you think, hey, I'm better than that guy. I know something he doesn't, right? That's what conspiracy theorists are. Basically, you think you know something that nobody else does, and you feel good about yourself because you're kind of better than that person. That way, it's like, oh yeah, Bush planned 9/11. I know this. It's like, do you have any proof? No, but I know it's true. It's like, you don't have any proof, bro. You just you have these like tangential little things that maybe could be true, but they're not. So it's just a way of people. Basically, it goes back to power, right? People feel powerless, right? So believing conspiracy theories makes them feel like they have some kind of control. Like
also, that dude, I hate to interject, but remember I just talked about solving a mystery releases dopamine into the brain. Conspiracy theories are pretty much just solving mysteries. Like, I've connected the dots. I feel great.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about like all these companies, like, oh yeah, like the corporations are all planning things together, to rule the country. No, they're not. They're trying to get money off of you. If they just so happen to take some control off of you, okay, but that's not their ultimate goal. And they're going to try to fuck over any other corporation to get money themselves. They're not all in one big league. So
I have a perfect example of that, Tony. It's the whole fucking the whole idea of like systemic racism, right? Like on the surface, it's just that like, oh, we have a huge racism problem in America. When you actually drill down to it, it's like, no, we have a huge prison problem in America. The fact that the prisons are run by private companies makes them canvass poor black neighborhoods looking for by the book crimes that are being the tiny little misdemeanors which they can feed people into a system which is then going to capitalize on their misfortune, and not only will it put them in the system, but it'll tag them for essentially the rest of their life and keep them in a low socioeconomic place, which is fucking great for prison companies who make a profit for every bed that they fill. And so you end up with this cause-effect relationship. And so yeah, like if you want to say like in one sense like there is a systemic racism problem in our country, absolutely, but does it come from white people just hate black people? It's like, no, it comes from a pure profit-driven margin. There doesn't have to be anybody out there being like, I hate black people and we should put a ton of black people in jail because all black people are fucking terrible crime heads. Like, that doesn't need to happen. All that needs to happen is the prison companies go, I don't want to have these 100 beds not filled because that doesn't fill my quota. And not filling my quota means less profit. Less profit means unhappy shareholders. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the policeman's ball and donate some fucking money and, poke the police commissioner in the chest and be like, hey, man, you should really go down there. I hear there's some prostitution rings downtown or something like that. Like, there's some crack. You should really check it out. There's a lot of bad stuff out in the hood. And then they go and they canvass the hood. The whole fucking process starts over again. So it's weird that you could say like there's a conspiracy against black people. It's like, you're not wrong, but it's definitely not in the way that you think.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other topic right there because I honestly, it's not even believe. I know for a fact human beings are just inherently racist. We're just like that, But
not if they cohabitate. Like they've done actual studies on mammals that show that like
I'm basing this off of my personal experience. I noticed when I was in grade school, right, elementary, right. Every kid mingled together. It didn't matter. Then when puberty hit, everybody started being segregated and they're little.
Dude, like New York is super racist. Like that was one of the things I noticed when I went out there. I was like, dude, everybody is super race conscious. Like everybody is very aware of what your race is, where you belong, who you can talk to, what little pockets. Like that is so super foreign from the way that I was raised and the way that everybody I know was raised. Like I legitimately, I know people be like, I don't see color. Like I legitimately have trouble telling people's race. Like people are just varying shades of brown to me because I honestly grew up not to give a fuck. And so when I'm put in a position where like, hey man, you stay away from the Argentinians, and I'll be like, how the fuck can you tell which ones are the Argentinians?
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, that's a whole other topic. But if you grow up in it basically, if you grow up in a place that has every race on the planet, like Manny said this too. He goes, you can't be a New Yorker without being a little racist. Manny said that. I completely agree with him. Because it's always in front of you. It's not even in the back of your mind. It's always in front of you, and that's what everyone talks about. But anyway, going back to the whole conspiracy theory thing, here's the other thing I wanted to end off with. Basically, people like easy answers, right? If you can't explain something, you try to make up something that explains it. Religion, this is how we get religion. Why does this work? God did it, you know. Same things like, why is this happening? What's happening? Oh, there's a shadow organization. The Alleluia is doing this. It's an easy answer. People like shit like that. I'm coming at conspiracy theories from a psychological standpoint. You know, human nature makes us want to believe this sort of shit. You know,
dude, there's evidence that supports that. When they give developing children two scenarios, like they say, like there are ponds all over the African safari. A, because water falls from the sky and drains into areas with poor saturation, and so it ends up pooling. Or B, so all the animals have a place to drink. And the kids inevitably choose B because the human mind tries to make a sort of fundamental sense of things. And the trap that we fall into is we unfortunately pick the lowest hanging fruit and go, this is it, this is the one that makes sense. Water does pool on the ground in very specific ways for a very specific purpose, but it's not the one that you can kind of catch at a cursory glance.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
Chris.
I always like the fun conspiracy theories. I wasn't even thinking about like 9/11 and stuff. When he said like flat Earth, that always makes me laugh because those guys are hilarious,
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
We have pictures.
You have pictures from space guys, like we've seen the Earth is round, like, and if you go into flat Earth theory, I watched a video on it and I could not stop laughing because the shit that they think that the disc that we live on that is like concave and has a wall like Game of Thrones is shooting upwards constantly to keep the sky moving, and it's the weirdest fucking thing ever. It makes me fucking laugh. So
okay, but you never fell for any of those. Like, I'll be honest, when I watched the moon landing, I was kind of like, why are there no stars? Is that not weird to anybody else that there are no stars in space? Like, it's just apparently a thing that happens.
Yeah, it's something that happens.
It's an effect that happens with the film and the lighting. But what, like, besides the moon landing, like, I find the Hadron Collider with the portal to Saturn, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, did you spin a dial to pick the planet that would open up to? Like, it's so fucking weird.
Dude, some people have a fundamental misunderstanding of, I love science, and I'll talk about science with some people, and they do not understand. Like, they're like, so, like, a black hole could be a wormhole, right? You're like, well, in theory, kind of, yes. Like, it can transport energy from point A to point B, but only after crushing it down to a quantum singularity of pure energy. And they're like, okay, so why don't we just send a ship through a black hole? And you're like, did you not fucking hear the whole last part of what I just said?
No, it's some of it's fun, dude. I've seen stuff on, like, Flat Earth, Hollow Earth. The Black Knight satellite. The Hollow Earth one is funny because, like, these guys get empowered because guys, like, smart people believe that shit. And then, like, you get guys like Edmund Halley, right? He's got a fucking comet named after him. The guy is brilliant, right? He made a Hollow Earth theory, right? I don't know if he made it as a joke. Maybe he's like, I'm going to fuck with these guys. And he made this diagram. And then there's that guy in World War II who said he actually flew into the Hollow Earth. And he's some decorated admiral in the Navy. So, I mean, you got that kind of stuff.
By the way, a quick side story. I remember when I was in high school, right? It was a social studies class. I don't know why my teacher brought this up because it was social studies, right? History, whatever, right? This dude goes, "Oh yeah, I don't really subscribe to." This is the teacher, by the way. Again, the teacher said this. I don't subscribe to evolution because I don't understand how an alligator could turn into a turkey. I'm like, and I said this out loud. I'm like, you're stupid. That's not how it works.
Alligators didn't turn into anything. That was so horribly terrifying. They've been unchanged. They've been the perfect killing machine for millions of years. Do you not watch Archer?
Yeah, this goes back to the conversation we were having before, Brett. Like, alligators have maintained that same form literally since life almost began, multicellular life. Same thing with sharks. Sharks are still the same basic thing. For a reason, they work.
Sharks have never evolved souls because they don't need them.
Yes. Anyway, Brian, go ahead. Conspiracy theories.
Oh, there's a lot of them, and they're all fun.
Brian, you sound a little weird, though. Say that again.
Hold on. Am I good now?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. I just enjoy just like reading them all because they're all just like great fun just to see like what other people can think. Again, my favorite has always been the climate change denial people and the flat Earth stuff. They're always just so funny to hear. It's like, oh, climate change isn't real because it's all a conspiracy by the government and scientists to take your money away. It's like, there's nothing to gain if climate change is real. Like there really is nothing to gain. It literally is like a giant warning saying, "Hey, the world is screwed over, people. Let's be careful here." You know, like there's no incentive anyway. Yeah, I just love just hearing them. Yeah, I never heard about the Hollow Earth one and the whole portal to Saturn stuff. Like they sound really interesting. To be fair,
There's a ton. I could send you links, man. I look into this stuff too. I enjoy it. Like I'll send you the Hollow Earth one, but there's these guys who believe that there's this lab out in Long Island of all places that has a door through time. Like I forgot where it goes, the 30s or the 40s. I don't know. Like you hear this stuff, I'm like, what were you drinking that night? You look that up. They got a doorway, man. It goes into the 30s.
Yo, man, this shit is crazy right now. Oh, by the way, I'm going to answer for Manny real quick. He doesn't subscribe to that stuff, but he loves conspiracy theories. Like, he tells me about these crazy ones all the time, too.
No, I love watching this stuff, too.
Like, his favorite is the one about the shadow government in America and stuff. You know, like, that's his favorite one. I forgot, the New World Order, all that kind of crazy shit, you know?
Dude, I love cheesy alien documentaries.
Yeah.
Like,
but Brett, I had to have to stop because here's the other conspiracy theories. Aliens have visited us, right? And they're in league with the government. Here's my thing. I would love it if aliens actually visit Earth, but the problem is, if you know the distances of space and all that shit, you're probably like, that probably didn't happen.
Actually, if there's a reason that most prolific scientists won't discount the theory. Like, there is, like, if you look at the leap of technology, anybody even like mildly ahead of us, like in the cosmic age, like a couple years older than us, would their technology be so advanced it'd be like us driving a Range Rover up to a group of pygmies and getting them to try and fucking understand what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things like we already display characteristics, and you kind of have to pan out. We already have zoos. We already have protected habitats. It wouldn't be out of the question that we would be in that kind of range. And if you do the math in the universe, like, it would be staggeringly almost impossible for us to be the only intelligent life form on the planet. That raises a whole lot of other questions, like, the fuck happens to all the other ones? Where are they? Are we in an off-limit zone? Are we in the boonies of space, or is it just all galactic civilizations eventually destroy themselves? And that's a pretty bleak thought.
Yeah, I mean, here's my personal theory about that, right? The fucking the Prime Directive. Our technology is not high enough, so the galactic community's like, leave them alone. Or my other favorite theory is like, yo, the motherfucking Earthlings is crazy. Don't go there. Like, put a sign. Those guys are nuts. Stay away.
What about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
I mean, what about Stephen Hawking's warning? He's like, maybe we don't want to find the life that's out there because if they come looking for us, they might want our shit.
They're actually like. We have SETI up, which detects things, but they've been arguing for decades whether they should actually be broadcasting signals to try and go into space. Yeah. And the end result they've come up with is that's a really bad idea. If they don't know we're already here or aren't visiting us, we're not putting it out there, because it's just you go through the thought experiment and you're like, yeah, 9 out of 10 times this is going to end terribly. But even at the same time, like, we are already developing optic camouflage. We can predator our way through the fucking jungles now. Like, can you imagine a primitive society trying to understand the concept of a ghillie suit? They're like, you went into the bushes and he just fucking disappeared. Like, what do you mean he disappeared? Be like, there could be 100 of them in there. We'd never see. And the primitive people would be like, yeah, if there were people with magic boomsticks that could kill you by pointing something at you and disappear into the bushes, I think we'd fucking know about it. Like, no, you wouldn't necessarily know about it because they're way smarter than you.
Hey, bringing it back, you know what's going on, right? They live. That's what's happening. They're all around us right now, man. You gotta find those glasses, man. You gotta weed them all out.
Like, have you ever tried? Like, it is ridiculously hard to see something in space, even if you know where you're looking.
It's black out there. You can't see shit, man.
Yeah,
you can't see stars that are illuminated. You know. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be that hard to just hide something in space.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going with my theory. They have the fucking Prime Directive. They're leaving us alone until we're ready, you know? But you're right. Actually, your theory is the South Park episode where we're basically part of a giant game show and they're just watching us because we're fucking crazy.
I don't even think about that. To be like, we're just hyper-violent monkey pigs. I think I think the writer of Discworld said it best. Where the rising ape meets the falling angel, and that's kind of terrifying. The more you think about it, I wouldn't come and mess with us. I'd be like, I'm gonna let them see what they do.
Yeah. Oh, and going back to the whole SETI thing, imagine if an alien race shows up and it's like, you guys let us know where you are. You know how fucking stupid you are. You now belong to us.
Yeah,
like,
that's a Stephen Hawking's warning.
Like, you guys fucked up. You guys fucked up.
Yeah, first contact generally historically doesn't go well for the less advanced party.
Exactly. Well, that's where Stephen Hawking's talking about. It's like, yeah, guys, think about history. Never really went well for the primitive people. You know? All right, let's move on here.
Can I ask like real quick? With the whole thing with like life on other planets stuff. I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that said that that's like one of the few questions where like both answers are equally as frightening.
Yeah.
Because if you're like the only life form in the whole universe, then that's very depressing.
Yeah.
Very depressing. And if we're not, then who else is out there?
You know what's even more depressing than that is the better of those two answers is probably not finding somebody, because there's something they've talked about with if galactic civilizations exist, there's kind of this great barrier that you need to pass, and like it's the answer to why aren't we seeing any other races?
Yeah, because they kill themselves off. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things. Like there's a barrier that at a certain technological level you hit. And like 99% of species don't pass that barrier, and that's why you wouldn't see the interstellar prevalence of life that you would expect. And to actually find a alien species like visiting us in a spaceship more technologically advanced than us would be terribly bad news, because that means that Great Barrier is actually ahead of us, and we have a 99% chance of dying as a species before we get to the other side. If we don't meet anybody, there's a very slim chance that we are the 1% and we've already passed it, that simply gaining base intelligence and technology is that Great Barrier. So if we see somebody, it's kind of like a 99% chance of impending doom anyway. Even if we never have contact with them, it still spells out some pretty grim scenarios for us as a species.
Yeah. All right. Just moving on here. What breaks your immersion in games? Great question. I like that one. Who wants
when my controller dies. Sony.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I guess. This is going to sound fucked up, but it's true. If I'm trying to play like a game that has some story elements, but then there's other people in the party talking, it's like that kind of breaks the immersion and stuff. But then there's more gamey things like fucking Last of Us, right? When those big super zombies came out, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Took me right out of the experience, man. Because up until that point, it was giving me something I had never really experienced before. Then it just became cliche video game. It's like, oh, okay, here we go. You know, so I guess when anything becomes super video gamey, or you know, you're going around the world, it's like everything's cool, then all of a sudden there's a room with a lot of ammo. It's like, okay, I know what's happening, and I see
there's a boss fight.
It's like, okay, here we go. You know, that kind of is, you know, immersion breaking. You know, or you see checkpoint, like, oh, some shit's about to go down. Brian, I know you know what I'm talking about, man.
Oh yeah. It's like just walking along, it's like, oh wow, like look at this all this ammo just laying here. I'm like, oh wow, the super gun is right here. Let me just like pick it up like real quick.
Yeah, save. Oh, okay, I got you.
Or like just walking along, it's like, wow, that room is very big and empty.
Oh, there's a bunch of cover points.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen next?
What's all the strategic cover here for? Or in BioShock when you're like, oh, here's a regeneration pod. Yeah. That's not good news.
Yeah, basically. All right, what other stuff is game breaking?
When difficulty spikes, like when you're going along a good clip and all of a sudden you encounter something that's like impossible to beat, like you're dying like 20 times when you've just been slacking everybody down. That always breaks me out. It's like, God damn it, why is this guy so fucking hard all of a sudden? Yeah, go ahead.
When you don't receive items, and RPGs are particularly bad about this, from a fetch quest that you should receive items from. They're like, go out and kill, get me 12 boar tusks or 12 boar hooves, and you have to murder 46 fucking boars to get the boar hooves, because apparently some boars just hover around because they don't have feet.
Man, don't get me started on that.
Like, how does a boar not have 4 feet? Like, okay, now this game has been like immediately immersion broken.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You kill one boar, you only get one boar foot. It's like he has 3 others, man. What the fuck?
But yet he does have 3 pieces of gold
Yes.
for odd reason.
Rachel ran across a blood bug in Fallout the other day, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Why does this blood bug have a spoon on it?" And then she found another blood bug, and I was like, "See, this blood bug was just trying to get home to its family. It ran out of gas after coming home from a funeral and just needed to get some groceries for his kids." It was about this time that I noticed this blood bug, or that this guy was actually a 6-foot-tall floating blood-sucking creature with an exoskeleton asking for tree fitty. Just crackhead mosquitoes everywhere. I love Fallout, but that's one thing I cannot stand. Is like, why does this blood bug have a fucking transistor on
it? Kristen came in and said the Havoc physics engine.
Oh shit! Just
because everyone ragdolls, like you kill them and there's a.
Yes.
Chris, you love it in Souls when.
I love kicking them around. Yeah, when I back down something like 3 times the size of me, and all of a sudden it's a meat puppet. That's my meat puppet. I earned this meat puppet. I'm kicking shit around.
Oh man. I'd have to say like whenever like the AI does something like completely dumb.
Yeah.
Like I really just enjoy just watching the AI just go off and do its thing. And the best game for that is GTA because. Like, you have some really funny things. Like, you have like cops like running over like other cops and flipping their cars and all sorts. Some of the best ones are like when like a cop is chasing down someone and then like they catch them and then of course they like accidentally like hit like some other like AI guy and then that AI guy like starts to fight with the cops and then like they get into like a shootout and then like some other guy just joins in and then like before you know it, it's like World War III there and it's like wow. The game literally just had its own like game like right there, and I was just stood here just watching it. It's brilliant.
See, I feel like that adds to the immersion though. Like I love that. Again in Fallout when you're just like, the fuck is going on over there? Just sitting on a building like watching a super mutant suicide or run into a group of raiders. I'm like, oh look, the Brotherhood's here now.
Yeah, that kind of stuff gets me into the game more. It's like I just drop in from a save point, all of a sudden, oh shit, they're just going at it right now, and just explosions everywhere. Like from 0 to 60, it's like I'm in an action movie now. This is awesome, you know. I love that shit. But yeah, the Havoc's physics engine. I like that answer. All right, next up here, as you may have heard or may not have heard. Dogmeat has been given the award for Best Game Dog at the World Dog Awards. Any thoughts on this? Is he really the best game dog? Technicality aside, yeah, fuck Huey. I think Diamond Dog is the better pooch. Okay, so yes, Best Game Dogs.
Yeah.
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 I mean, Dogmeat is cool, but, you know, I don't know.
Dogmeat's the best representation of a dog.
Yeah.
Like, Dogmeat is so well made that neither Rachel or I can really use Dogmeat for a variety of reasons. One being that I had a German Shepherd who we lost, and just these small mannerisms of Dogmeat, the way that his ears twitch, the way that he stands, the way that he sits down, the way that he holds himself, like is like this heart-crushing sadness. Like it's close enough to evoke recognition memories in me. It's close enough to fool my brain for a split second. And then on top of that, like it's just like watching Dogmeat whimper after getting like shot down by raiders is just so tragically sad that it pulls at like a human empathy response, and like we feel bad. You're like, I can't bring the dog into battle because he gets shot and he whines, and I feel terrible. Like they do a good enough job to trigger an empathy response, and so on that alone, like I would say like. That's a really good representation of a dog. It still falls prey to Fallout's like wonky pathfinding and physics. Yeah, it's still a retarded dog that'll run down a hallway and set off 16 landmines. But that's Fallout. That's not necessarily Dogmeat.
Well, I feel that way in Metal Gear because the way they did D-Dog, I mean, Dogmeat, you either stimp him or he gets up, but he's invulnerable, right? D-Dog, if you get blasted on the battlefield, I know I've gotten caught, and he's caught a mortar, and he has to be evac'd out, right?
Yeah, that's worse, man.
You know,
Dude,
and
wait,
tells you.
You guys know old Dogmeat was also in Fallout 3 and could die permanently.
Yeah, I remember that.
So are we're not talking about just Fallout 4 Dogmeat. We're talking about like Dogmeat as a character, right?
But yeah, no, Chris, I know what you're getting at because, like, yeah, there's something about my thing with Dogmeat is whenever he would get into trouble, I wouldn't feel sympathy. When I would hear him whine, I'm like, you fucking dog, really? You're getting yourself into some bullshit? I would fucking hit him too, But the dog got into some shit. I'm like, oh man, and you feel bad because you were like, I fucked up. Here.
Yeah, when D-Dog got in trouble in my game, it's because I fucked up. And then he get blown up.
And then the worst thing, when you see your buddy rating, it goes down. It's like, oh, now the dog is mad at me. Fuck. Like fuck Dogmeat. I like D-Dog better, man. Like, I just feel more connected to him, But, I mean, Dogmeat was cool, too, because I was sick of him and super mutants. Like, get him, boy. Get that motherfucker. I like that. But then sometimes I would not want him to do that. He'd get into some shit. And then I have to go smack him around, Fucking dog.
Yeah, but we're not talking about how much you like them. I think, or are we talking about like how much you like them, or how good of a dog they make in a character or in a game?
If you're talking about how good of a dog they make, then they're both equal to me.
Yeah, no, D-Dog did more stuff. D-Dog would just go, if you're standing around, he'll go take a piss
and shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
He'd go do dog stuff while you're just standing around.
D-Dog was actually more useful because he'd point out every fucking enemy in the area, man.
Oh, that's why I take him everywhere, man.
Yeah. Like, D-Dog, what's up? What's over there?
That's what I'm saying. Are we talking utility or representation?
Yeah, if we're talking about utility, I'm going with D-Dog because he's vastly more useful than fucking Dogmeat. Dogmeat, I never brought him around. I brought the fucking who did I bring with me? The robot guy. I brought him along. He was cool, But in Metal Gear, it's like, I kind of want the dog, man. Like, I know he can't snipe, but I want the fucking dog because the dog will point out everything, But as far as like which one is more better representative of a dog, again, kind of is the same to me. I don't really see a difference. They're both probably the best dogs I've seen in games. And it's funny because they both came out like a month apart from each other. Before that, like what dogs were around before that were good? I can't think of any.
Oh, that were good. I was about to say the one from Ghosts.
Yeah,
that wasn't
that
good.
That were good.
That was just useless.
All right, Brian, go ahead. Dogs. You think you should have won the award?
I didn't know that this was a thing. To be fair,
I didn't know that either, man. Didn't know.
Dogmeat is really cool. Like after I found out that you can use him to get is it the cryo launcher or the cryo something? Yeah. When I found out that was possible, I was like, wow, okay, Dogmeat, like you actually gone from like okay to like really cool. And then I found out that if you give him like teddy bears, then he throws them about and like pretends to eat them. It's like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. And yeah, and then I just love to just abuse the crap out of the dog because just why not?
Actually, jumping on that real quick, my Dogmeat didn't want to get that cryo shit. I kept telling him get the cryo shit. He just looked at me like I'm stupid, so I fucking shot him. Piece of shit dog.
It's like every time that my one would just go down, I used to just say, you know what, like I'll just leave you here, and then like you just pop up in like 5 seconds. So just do your thing.
I wouldn't give a fuck. If he gets hurt, it's like too bad. You'll fix yourself, you fucking dog.
And then the worst thing is that it was always his fault. It was always okay, he'd like run into like a massive group of people. It's like, why are you doing that? Just stay by me and wait, please. It's like I'll throw a grenade there, and then like you run to it. It's like, no, I'm not playing fetch with a grenade. I'm just throwing a grenade. Just stay here.
That's why I eventually had to get rid of that dog, man. Every time I hear him whine, I would get angry. It's like, you motherfucker, what did you get yourself into now? Piece of shit dog.
But then of course, like the other companions, like they weren't much better. They just say like the most random crap. It's like, do you really want to be picking up that old junk? And I'm like, just fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build something here. Just piss off, and then of course I'd end up either sleeping with the companion or just sending them to like a gulag that Brett had the idea for, and that gulag idea like actually worked.
Oh, nice.
It's like, okay, you're pissing me off, so you go to this place and you stay there, and I'll never see you again.
Yes. All right.
Welcome to Oberlin Prison.
All right, he ends it off with, thanks for an amazing podcast. Looking forward to every new episode. Awesome. Next up, Damian Perceval. Right. With the rise of revenue and popularity from the Marvel Cinematic Universe / comic book movies, you think Hollywood could ever reclaim their spot as the #1 form of entertainment that video games have held for the past few years, seeing that both have the same fan base? No, they don't actually have the same fan base, actually. you know, yeah, superhero movies are really, really popular, super popular, but Hollywood ain't touching video games now. It is completely different market, you know. Like there's the same people who buy video games, and I'm talking about all video games, even fucking mobile bullshit games, you know. They're not all watching superhero movies, you know. So what do you guys say?
I don't. Wait, let me see what it says.
Yeah, basically, do you think Hollywood movies could ever, you know, Hollywood could
Oh,
ever
no,
overtake?
because I think video games are an evolution of entertainment, like
Yeah.
away from passive entertainment. Just like we told stories, and then we figured out how to print books, and then reading became a thing. Like stories were in books, and we didn't have to sit around a fire and pass down stories between generations. You know, then the moving pictures happened, and then that became the entertainment, right? Because you could see actors on the screen and then hear sounds and have music with them. Well, now I think video games is the next evolution of visual entertainment, of storytelling, right? So I don't think movies will overtake it ever. You can't get that kind of experience from a movie, no matter how good the story is or whatever. Being immersed in the story, which is what a video game is, that's the next step.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's that would be a regression, you know, because it is the next step, just like you said.
I would agree.
Yeah, Brian? Mr.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much agree with Chris.
All right. And the last question here from Damien. So he goes, does it matter to you guys if a female has cosmetic surgery, or is that a turnoff? And then he goes, I don't know if that is the norm or if this show is just about video games and pop culture. And we tell everybody, ask us whatever you want. Throw down your questions. You know, primarily about games and all that shit, obviously, but we like answering shit like that too. And I'm glad you asked us this one, Damien. My thing is, you know, it's always the amount of cosmetic surgery, right? Going back to what I was talking about a couple weeks ago. I saw the remake Ninja Turtles movie from a couple of years ago. Horrible movie, right? Megan Fox in it, something was up with her face. Like, it's obvious she did some shit to it. I'm like, Megan Fox was fine as fuck. Like, she was like one of the hottest women I've ever seen. What happened? It looks like somebody like beat the shit out of her and they just put makeup over her to cover up all the bruises.
But, okay, is that cosmetic surgery or is that just looking weird? Because like personally, I guess I'll just answer the question while I'm here. Like,
yeah,
I don't care about plastic surgery. It doesn't matter at all as long as I guess your end result is like if you look weird, whether that be natural or unnatural, like. I'm probably prone to be a little less attractive to you. And I know that some people are like all about naturalism, to which I've generally told people like, they're like, oh, do you have a problem with fake boobs because they're fake? I was like, you know, none of the video games I play on my PlayStation are real, and I enjoy the fuck out of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just to answer the question directly, basically before I went to my first strip club, I was one of those guys. No, titties have to be real, 100% real. When those fake titties were in my face, I'm like, nope, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit if the titties are fake or real. Just put them in my face. So, no, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't look weird, no problem with that. You know, you're allowed to do what you want with your body. You know what I'm saying?
There's no bad and good fake titties. There's just bad and good titties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. I don't care. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's what it is. Basically, you know, yes, as long as you're still kind of attractive to me, I don't give a shit. I don't care. You know, do what you want.
Yeah,
Chris,
I agree.
You say, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you said it all.
All right, Brian.
I'm generally not too fussed, to be fair. Like, as long as you don't come out looking like something from like Robocop 1, where like the guy like dresses like the stupid words. Man, that film was so good.
Should I post that video again?
Yeah, as long as you don't like just come out just looking like that, then it's generally fine. Cause like, come on. But yeah, like to be honest, it doesn't matter.
There is one little caveat I will say. I will say, please don't do anything to your ass though. Like that's where I kind of have to draw the line. Like fake titties, okay, but when you have a really nice ass and then it turns out to be like fake, mostly from padding, then I'm like, I don't know about that. Like the booty is a sacred thing, you know. So I mean, granted, in the end, I'm still gonna hit it, but yeah, there's a little caveat there. Like, don't touch the booty. Leave the booty alone. You know. That's where the fun is, man. All right. Next up here, Mr. Goriti. Brett, this is for you, man. If I ran into you in the dark zone, are you there for PvE, to hunt rogues, to go rogue? He says, I'll be there for the manhunt.
Ooh, it depends on what you're there for. If you're there to PvE, sure, I'll PvP you. Like, if I catch a rogue, yeah, I'll fucking chase him down. If you are there to hunt rogues, there is nothing more relishing and challenging than hunting a hunter. So I will try and murder you. That's kind of like, at that point, I pick up my blunderbuss, put on my safari hat and a bad Australian accent, I'd be like, the most dangerous prey is human. So like, I always like, if you are the guy that hunts other players, I totally want to hunt you.
All right. I finally went into the dark zone yesterday for the first time. Yeah, it was interesting because I see like a drop-off point or whatever, so I'm trying to extract shit. And I see a bunch of other players. They're doing the same thing. One motherfucker decides to start shooting at us, and then we all just unleash on this guy. Like, bitch, what are you doing? And then what happened is since we killed him, a bunch of other dudes rolled up trying to kill us. So it just got crazy. I'm like, it devolved into a regular multiplayer match at that point. It's everybody shooting.
Dude, it's a Mexican standoff. Somebody shoots an errant bullet. They hit like when you're in a team of 4 guys and somebody goes rogue, everybody tries to shoot that rogue. Somebody accidentally pumps 2 bullets into somebody else. Your whole team goes rogue. The opposite happens on the other side. Suddenly everybody's rogue, and you've got like a Mexican standoff gone terribly south. It's kind of a beautiful thing because you feel the tension. Everybody's just kind of sitting there staring at each other. And you're like, all right, are we going to do jumping jacks or are we going to punch each other in the face?
Yeah, you just never know. All right, next up, Mr. Himdeal. By the way, Himdeal, I'm going to get you your PSN card soon. Don't worry about it, man, because I'm not trying to get you a $50 card, which is all they had left at the store by me. He goes, what are your thoughts on Hardcore Henry? That's the first-person shooting game, a movie that's coming out. My thing is, I hope it's okay, because I love that video by Prodigy that was all in first person, smack my bitch up. Fantastic. Now, can you make that into a 2-hour movie? I don't know. But if they pull it off, it would be pretty cool, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I had my same problem because I saw the little pieces of Hardcore Henry before on YouTube, right? They're fun in small doses. I can't imagine watching 90 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Do you think the whole thing isn't strictly like, I kind of imagine that they'll give you small breathers from the point of view of other characters. I could be wrong, but if they don't do that, then they're going to have some pretty static scenes where you get a chance to catch up, because just 90 minutes of that kind of frantic motion is going to make people sick. Like, they're going to be aware producing a movie like this, like, okay, you need to give people a second to calm down. So you'll either have, conversations where, there's very little motion blur and he's not whipping back and forth to other characters, where characters are probably stepping into and out of the scene, so that you're actually, having a resting camera, or they're going to cut out and show it from a third-person perspective every once in a while, and then jump back into crazy first-person action sequences. And I think that the kicker is going to be whether or not they want to show you what the main character looks like. If they want to have the whole movie be like you've never seen the main character, so you feel like it's you, then I think they'll do the whole like people stepping in and out of frame and things like that, or slow pans. But I don't think the whole movie is going to be like frantic and fucking crazy. They're going to give you a second to get off and not throw your popcorn up.
Yeah, like, obviously there's going to be those points where he's just chilling. I'm pretty sure they're going to maintain the first-person perspective, but he's probably just going to stop and talk, at one point or another, Because you're right, it can't just be like... Well,
it won't even be like when you talk to people, like, naturally, like, you look back and forth around the room, you're looking at other people.
Yeah.
This will probably be like I said, like, I can imagine him like sitting in like a CIA type of office, and there's like a lady leaning against the desk, and somebody walks up with some paperwork, and as she walks away, the camera pans away with her with the paperwork as you're talking to her, and then a guy steps in from the side desk, and the camera kind of pans. So you're seeing very little camera movement, but it's like a consistent, smooth shot with people stepping in and out of frame. I don't think it'll be a natural look left, look right, look at whoever's talking kind of thing.
Oh, so you think it's not going to be in first person the entire time? Because
No. If it is in first person, it'll be almost like think of like how House of the Dead has like a track cam and things jump in and out. Like, I think that'll be how, if they keep the whole movie in first person, that'll be how they give you your quote unquote visual rest.
First person, I mean from the view of one specific guy the entire
Yeah, no,
movie.
that's what I'm saying. Imagine you're walking down a hallway, right?
Yeah.
In real life, if you're talking to multiple people around the hallway, you're going to bend your neck left and right, correct? Which means your vision is going to shift left and you're going to get a motion blur. Shift right and you're going to get a motion blur. However, in the movie, after a really frantic scene, that may be too much for people. So then think of that same point of view of that guy, but maybe he's now kind of wearing a neck brace, right? So people are kind of stepping into his line of sight and stepping out of his line of sight. So you can still be walking down a hallway, but there's a lot less frantic camera movement. It's a very slow-paced panning to give people a chance to kind of, calm down and, like I said, not throw up in their popcorn bucket. And then then it'll lead back into something frantic. But they're gonna have to slow pace it. It can't be 90 minutes of just what the commercials show you.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys say, Brian?
I'm mainly excited just to see how they'll pull off like most of the stunts, because generally, like in most films, like all the stuff that happens after the stunt is like out of shot. But then since that everything is all in shot, then like some of these stunts like might be like quite dangerous and like might require it will require a lot of smart thinking about like how they like show guys falling off of buildings and.
But you can just superimpose the hands and the feet into it and just throw a camera off a building.
Oh no, I mean like other people.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Let's say that you're you're on top of a car, and you throw some guy like out the car. It's like, how do you film a guy being thrown out of a car and rolling on the road?
You turn away before he impacts.
Yeah.
Oh no, but like showing it and like showing him roll down the road. It's how do you film that sequence?
I mean, you won't be able to see the guy roll down, but yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bunch of good, strategic CG in the movie too,
Oh yeah, but I'm just excited to just see like how they'll like pull it all off and like what kind of tricks they'll use. The movie just looks like stupid fun, so I'm I'm down for it. I see before Deadpool, so I'm like, okay, cool, I can get into it now.
I saw it during that preview too, and I was like, that's the perfect mindset to show that preview to. Like, just frantic massacre. You're here for Deadpool. I have another frantic massacre movie for you. Okay.
Yes. All right, Brett, you got to get going, man.
Yeah, I got to be bouncing, guys. Sorry, I have to cross the T's and dot the I's on some of this Rachel stuff.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
So we will see you.
It's been real. I'll catch y'all on Thursday.
Cool.
All right, take care, Brett.
Deuces.
All right, moving on here. Mr. Fan of Vash. He goes first off regarding my Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 question from last week. It has now been confirmed that Kurt Russell has been cast to play Star-Lord's father, while rumors suggest Stallone is playing a Ravager. Dude, Stallone and Kurt Russell in a movie. Come on, man.
Insane.
Tango and Cash, man. Let's go. Hell yeah. All right, so here we go. What are your thoughts on the rumored PlayStation 4.5 or the PlayStation 4K?
It's a nice name.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we covered this with talking about the iterative Xbox updates.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea. But, I mean, if they do it, they put us in a tough position because, like, I don't want to spend another $300 or even more, $350 on a new system,
Yeah, I mean, here's my thought on it. I'm just going to be real, but I think it's going to happen because Xbox is about to do it, right? Sony has to answer. Are they really going to ride the rest of the generation out with the same PS4 when Xbox is going to potentially have a better Xbox in like a year or two? I don't see that happening. So they may be forced to do this, right? Personally, I don't like it because I'm like, the reason I buy a console is because I don't need to upgrade it. And over the last couple of weeks, this has been my kind of struggle. Brian's been making fun of me about this, right? Because I'm like, okay, I have this PC, right? And I want to play some PC games on it, but it's like, hey, Tony, you can't run all the upcoming shit at optimum. You need to upgrade your card. It's like, fuck, really? And now if I have to deal with that with consoles, I'm like, okay, I'll just stick with PC gaming then. Just get a new graphics card every fucking year. If that's what, what we're going to have to start doing now, It's crazy. So I don't like it, but I think it's going to happen. It's just like an all-digital future. I don't like it, but I think it's going to happen, Anyway, Brian, what do you say?
I actually shared my thoughts with the guys on the Core podcast like earlier this evening. So catch that. Is it tomorrow? I think it is on. Like it drops on Mondays, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but is general gist of it is I don't think it should happen because it doesn't make much sense. and I don't think like a 4.5 actually makes total sense. But I think that this is just more rumors for PlayStation 5 type stuff coming along the way.
Because they said around May, they said it's not going to come out this year. They said maybe next year, 2017, or the year after that. Year after that, I'm like, just make a PlayStation 5 then, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like this is just like early like PS5 rumors stuff just floating around, and people just like took it and ran with it.
Here's my question: do you think they're calling it a quote unquote PS4 5 because the PS5 is probably going to have the same shit inside of it? You know what I mean? Like the x86 architecture and stuff. You think that may be why it's like PS5 is going to be, it's going to be backwards compatible. I think we could all agree on that, right? You know, so maybe that's what they're trying to say. It's like it's really a PlayStation 5. You know?
Maybe.
I mean, you guys know the technicalities of it more than I do, but that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah,
you know?
they're not gonna leave the x86 architecture. They're not gonna go to another thing. But it's just that like I felt like with this console generation, yeah, they missed the vote. They missed the boat on the 4K output and stuff. Doesn't seem to me like upgrade a whole console just to get 4K support because like not many people right now have 4K televisions and stuff. So in terms of a console upgrade, if you're gunning for that, that seems a little bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, they said the reason is because they want 4K and they also want the PlayStation to be able to be, you know, run those VR games better, you know?
I mean, if it's an upgrade for PlayStation VR.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're all in general consensus like, kind of not a good idea, you know?
Yeah.
That's not what consoles are for. You want an upgradable machine, get a PC. That's what that's for, you know? All right. Next question. What are your thoughts on the announcement of Indiana Jones 5 and the fact that the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull writer is writing this film? If that's true, skip that shit. Skip that shit.
I won't put too much on the writer because there's a lot of things wrong with Crystal Skull. I mean, George Lucas had a lot to do with it, and he wrote the original story, so that was a big problem with it. And look, I mean. Joss Whedon wrote Alien Resurrection. I hated that movie. I mean, he's a good writer, a good director.
True.
So I could give this guy a lot of forgiveness. I think the right director, right combination of things really make a movie, right? And I think anything involving George Lucas, he has like ultimate control over what happens with that movie. So that's probably where Crystal Skull went wrong. So I don't see that happening with Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah. So what do you think about Indiana Jones 5 overall?
You know, I'll wait and see. I'll give it a shot. The Crystal Skull sucked. You know, let's make no bones about that. But I'll see what happens. Disney's been kind of doing okay. You know, the Marvel stuff is great. Star Wars, it was pretty good. So you know, I'll give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, Brian, what do you say?
I'm just a bit confused. It's like, how on earth do they plan to like film this like movie in like 2 months? Like, doesn't like Indiana Jones like come out on like May 10th or something like that?
Is that what they're saying?
Wait, this year?
You don't get the joke? Uncharted, Indiana Jones.
Okay. totally went over our heads.
That was a really hard setup, to be fair. But yeah.
And because Uncharted may get delayed again.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just skip that and get Uncharted. Like, seriously, like, there's no point of getting this, especially if Lucas is involved again after Uncharted 4, after Indiana Jones 4 and that travesty. I'm still getting like sick reverberations from the whole what's it called, refrigerator scene.
Oh, the nuke scene, man. That bullshit.
And then the prairie dog that just appeared from nowhere had no purpose of anything. Why? Yeah.
What a dumb movie. All right. Next question. Are any of you considering PS View now that it is available nationwide, excluding Brian, obviously? No, I have cable. I don't need PS View. You know?
I think if you cut the cord, though, it might be a good option.
Yeah, oh yeah, if you cut the cord completely, then yes, you know, $44 or something like that.
And I honestly was thinking about that. I was thinking about cutting the cord if I could have good options, because like I like watching Walking Dead when it comes on TV, you know, like not waiting for it to. But the problem is like my cable bill is fucking outrageous, so I would if I maybe I'll look into it, but yeah, I would if I was like, yeah, fuck cable, man, fuck this bill.
Yeah,
I would probably do it.
Yeah, no, because it's not that bad. Yeah, if I didn't have cable at all, then yes, but I do have cable. Time Warner are slick, boy. They are slick. I'm gonna tell you a story. This happened to me. I was about to cut my cable this past week, right? I call them up. I'm like, hey, listen, how much is it gonna cost me if I just want internet and phone, right? And they told me the price. I'm like, really? They're like, oh yeah, but if you add cable, it's actually gonna bring the price down. I'm like, that's how they get you, man. So I was like, fuck it, just give me the triple pack then, you know. But I did lower my overall cable bill by almost $80, so I didn't do a bad. Just again, Time Warner. Here's the thing: they don't send me the fucking bill. They just take the shit out of the bank, so you don't know how much they're charging you. When they told me it was $200, I'm like, get the fuck out of here! You guys are crazy, you know. But yeah, so it's 180 now, 120 for all of it now, so pretty good. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna get rid of Hulu now. I don't need that shit anymore, you know. Especially I don't have DVR, but on demand has all this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to worry about DVR and stuff. And I also notice now that I don't have DVR, I'm forced to kind of watch the shows as they come out, which actually saves me more time. It's weird how that works. But yeah, no. Anyway, last question, Brian. This one's for you. Are you going to watch the Senran Kagura anime now?
I think I have to because there's a lot of stuff that happens. No, not because of that. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff that happens in that game that I have no context for.
Yeah.
Like why are certain people like beefing? Why are certain people like friends? It's like there's like a rivalry between like certain people and like I'm just like I'm coming in fresh, so I don't understand like who and what is going on. So some context would definitely help, and of course them titties.
Yes, the big ass titties. All right, finishing it up here, Mr. Ferngully. Actually, no, there's one more I've got to add. Anyway, Ferngully, next to last guy. Now that we've all seen her in action, are you satisfied with Wonder Woman's look and size, or do you think she should be a little bit thicker? We still haven't seen her yet, really. I still wish they would get a different actress. Like, there's a bunch of actresses that would look more Wonder Woman-ish. But again, I need to see her in the actual movie to make a final determination, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what he's talking about. I watched the international trailer too, and you barely see her.
Yeah, like you don't get enough of her, you know?
Yeah. So I can't make a judgment. My thoughts when they initially cast Gal Gadot as that character, I didn't think she was right for it.
Yeah.
That was my initial thoughts. I don't know. I haven't seen her now, so I don't know. I will reserve judgment. We got it this week, right?
Yes, this week.
We got the movie.
Oh, and by the way, hey Brian, when you seen that movie, man? When's it come out for you guys?
25th. But I actually will not be seeing it on the 25th because the National History Museum, they're having a showing of Jurassic Park on the same night, so I'm watching that instead.
Priorities,
because
man.
Dinosaurs.
It's Jurassic Park. Yeah, it's Jurassic Park. Like I cannot miss the chance to like have like a dinosaur like scream at me for like half an hour and then like walk out and see like the dinosaur like how it was in real life, like well at least like the skeleton for like comparison sake.
Nice. All right, so damn it, because I wanted to get a leg up on you. I'm gonna see that shit on Wednesday, Brian. Wednesday, I'm going, man.
To be honest, I'm not too fussed. It's like this film, I don't really care that much. To be fair.
Yeah, if it was Civil War, it'd be a different story, right, Brian?
Even with Civil War, like I'm still not like. Oh,
no, I'm talking about if I were to see Civil War before you, I'm pretty sure you'd get pretty bad. I'm trying to get something over on you, man. After that Avengers, you son of a bitch. But I feel you on that, man. I'm excited to see it, but I'm also very, very scared. But we'll get to that later. There's a question about that. That Ferngully also. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna switch the order of shit. The first comic book team-up movie of the year is upon us. Batman vs Superman. Some have waited 30 years to see these characters on the big screen, you know, at the same time. What's your biggest hope and biggest fear for the movie? My biggest hope is that it's good. My biggest fear is that it'll suck. You know, seriously though, I hope DC actually establishes like a credible cinematic universe like Marvel with this movie. One that we could be like, okay, I can see that working. You know, that's probably my biggest hope. Like, I hope it puts DC. It probably won't put them on the same level as Marvel, but at least I hope it puts them competitive to Marvel, if that makes sense. I hope that. My biggest fear is Lex Luthor, man. Like, I don't know about that. Like Jesse Eisenberg is a really shitty actor. Like everything I've seen out of him from the previews, it just looks like it's going back to the way comic books movies used to be in the 80s and 90s. Like really just jokey, stupid. Oh, Batman and Superman fighting each other. You know, it's like, oh come on, man, really? Like that. That would be the one thing that ruins this movie for me. But I'm hoping it's good because I don't want DC to be the guys that fuck up the golden age of superhero movies. I don't want them to be those guys. You know, we've had a really good run since 2008. Don't fuck it up. All right, Chris. Biggest hope and biggest fear.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest hope is that it doesn't suck. You know, it's that it's good. But my biggest fear is that with now what we know about the movie, the insertion of all these characters and all these divergent stories, is that the story is going to get confusing. That they're trying to do too much with one movie, right?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest fear, is that it could get fucked up and confusing, especially if they're trying to squeeze in all these other DC characters in there. It should just be fucking Dark Knight Returns, man. That was my hope for this movie, but I don't know. It some of it looks good, but when I think about this guy's gonna show up and Aqua, and like you said, Lex Luthor, and then they spill the beans on Doomsday, so I'm like,
Yeah, I mean that's a big worry too, that the movie's gonna be too overblown. I heard that the rated R version of the movie is 3 hours. Why does it need to be that long? What the fuck?
There must be a ton of shit happening in that movie.
Like, yeah, that's a good reason to be worried too, man. Too overblown, you know. Go ahead, Brian. What are your biggest hopes and fears?
It's pretty much the same as you guys, to be fair. Yeah. My biggest fear is that this could be like the beginning of like the downturn of movies.
Don't fuck it up.
We all know that it will come at some point. We just don't know like which film it will be. So we just don't hope. We're just hoping that it happens after Infinity Wars, and then that's what I hope for. Yeah. Just don't fuck it up, please.
Oh man.
Hopefully it will be like really good. My question to you guys, and I know that Brett has left. Do you think that this will gross less or more than Deadpool? Because Deadpool has been just blowing up like crazy.
Oh no. I think. Well, I mean, it depends on how bad the movie is. The movie's like a stinker. It's gonna not gross as much. If it's halfway decent, it's gonna make more. Why? Because Batman and Superman are in it. Deadpool was, obviously a big monster. Was it 730 million the last time I checked? It's huge.
That's a lot. That's
a ton of fucking money. But this is Batman and Superman. If they get it at least halfway right, people are gonna go see this fucking movie in droves, man.
Yeah, just the character recognition alone in the worldwide release.
Yeah.
It will get watched by a lot more people than Deadpool.
Yeah, for sure. But all right. So last question from Mr. Ferngully. Okay, who would make the best serious beat 'em up game and why? Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, Final Fight. He goes From Software, CD Projekt, Rockstar, or any other developer. Like a serious beat 'em up game that's not stupid.
That's a tough
yeah.
one.
Well, I have my answer now because I am insulted that he didn't list them. It's obvious it's Platinum Games. Like they do that type of game like so well. Like they do fighting games ridiculously good. It's like they will just create like some freaking crazy ass game.
But that's the thing though. He said serious. Platinum is over the top.
That's the thing. It's like you can't really have it being too serious though, because it just wouldn't make much sense. Like it'll have to be over the top in my opinion, because it's the only thing that would fit the whole context.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. To answer, I can't answer the question directly because I'm actually with you. I think a beat 'em up game needs to be stupidly over the top, in order for it to work. That's why that's why going back to Platinum, Rising didn't work for me. That game was not over the top enough. It needed to be way more over the top. Like it needs go ahead.
Even the old games he mentioned were over the top. I mean, look at a character like Mike Hagar.
Yes,
the freaking Hulk walking around. He's the mayor of the city, yeah. And then in Streets of Rage, you're you do a super move. In Final Fight, your super move was just like a spin move or something where you knock guys away from you. In Streets of Rage, a police car would pull up and a rocket launcher would shoot a rocket at you and blow up everybody on the screen. That's over the top to me.
And you also fight as a kangaroo.
Oh, yes, right. And the third one is a kangaroo.
But yeah, I think we hit on something. Inherently, the genre is already silly and over the top, so you can't make a serious one. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about brutality, though, I mean, From Software would be a good choice. But I think Brian's hit it on the head. I think Platinum would do that the most justice. I don't see Rockstar doing it.
Nah.
I played State of Emergency. It wasn't fun.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a shitty game.
That
And
game
I don't know about
sucked.
CD Projekt Red. Like, I don't know. I don't know what
I
else
like
they've
how
done
Brian
besides The
changed the
Witcher.
spelling there. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I can't really answer this question. I don't know.
I guess it just depends on what you want. If you think you want like old Double Dragon type of stuff or something, I don't know. Maybe From Software could do it, but I think Platinum is a good option. I think Brian's right.
Yeah, all right, we'll go with that one then. All right, and the last question here, Mr. K Cube, with the whole case with Jim Sterling being sued for $10 million by Digital Homicide for giving the game a bad review score and trashing it, do you see a trend happening with companies mad at a low score at a low review score suing reviewers? We didn't talk. I actually deleted this from the show notes from last week, right? Because we just didn't have enough time. But yeah, very interesting. So basically, Digital Homicide, they're a game studio, and they created some game, and apparently all their games in general don't get really good scores. They kind of, I can't talk, personally speaking, but apparently they don't really make good games. You know what Jim Sterling is, right? His whole deal is bash games. Like, he bashes good games. So imagine what he does to a shitty game. He goes in. So apparently they're trying to say that his opinion, his review, negatively affected the score, the review scores of the game, because they're saying that all his fans went over to diss the game and thus affected the sales of the game. So they're like, because of that and because of emotional distress, they're trying to sue him. Here's my thing. You guys know me. I don't like Jim Sterling. I think he's an asshole, basically. He bashes games for the sake of bashing it so he can get maximum amount of hits. But on this case, I'm gonna have to side with him, because it's like, if you guys made a shitty game, that's on you. That's not on Jim Sterling or anybody else. You're gonna sue everybody that gives you a negative score. No, you can't. That cannot be the precedent we set. So yeah, that's my take on it. I think the whole thing is stupid. As a matter of fact, Geek.com, the site I write for, they actually wrote an editorial this week. It's like, with Digital Homicide, you should just stop it. Stop, burying yourself any further. Just get on with it. Do your thing and don't worry about these people, because every time you go out there and you complain like this, you're making it worse for yourself. So that's my take on it.
It's a dumb lawsuit. It's ridiculous. If you bash a game, if your game is shit and it's getting reviewed by other people as shit, that I don't know why they're particularly picking on him. I guess maybe he went on it more than others. And then
it's Jim Sterling, dude. He probably.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
yeah, I know how he is on stuff, but to single him out is ridiculous. And then $10 million, and then to cite like, oh, you have punitive damages and emotional distress. Are you fucking for real? Like, you're a company, you make games and stuff. If as a person you're hurt by your reviews, get out of the fucking industry then.
Yeah.
That's
you're totally right about
ridiculous.
That. Yeah, it's like we what these reviewers said, public reviewers or whatever, it really hurt us. It's like they were saying these mean things. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, come on, man. It's fucking stupid. And don't get me wrong, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say I would love if Jim Sterling got sued. That was just a horrible thing to say. But I would love for somebody to stick it to him, because I really don't like Jim Sterling. But in this case, no, he has the right. He's a game reviewer. He's supposed to judge a game, And if the game is shit, in this case, I guess it sounds like he's right. Yeah, he should say what he needs to say. If you guys can't handle it, like you said, Chris, get the fuck out of the industry.
Yeah, seriously. Like, you realize that people can review your games on Steam and stuff, right? Have you read those reviews?
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, that's the thing, though. They're saying that Jim Sterling's fans went over to Steam and wrote these horrible, horrible things.
Oh, please.
That's what they're trying to say.
And how would they prove that? How would they prove that all those negative reviews are his fans? Like, how do you figure that out?
Well, that's what. Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
So ridiculous.
Anyway, Brian, go ahead.
It's so funny. It's honestly, it's just terrible. It's like, I don't know why they're doing this. Like, because like I follow like what Jim Sterling does from time to time because I feel like he's like one of the few people that has the balls to actually go out there and strike down the actual bad games for being actually bad. And the Slaughtering Gowns is actually a bad game that's actually bad. Not bad as in like, oh, it's just badly developed and poor management. It's bad as in everything about it is just bad. There's there's nothing good about it in general. So yeah, it's like seeing them do this is very funny, and it shows that that Digital Homicide are very desperate, and either A, trying to get some free publicity by doing this because
Yeah.
like they're not going after anyone else apart from Jim, because Jim is probably like the biggest one that has gone after them, or well, not gone after them, is the biggest one that has the most things to say about them. So like, why aren't they going after like anyone else that has had a bad review for their products? Because they're probably not as big as Jim is. So it literally just feels like it's like a last-ditch attempt to get famous off Jim's fame, I guess. And it's very pathetic, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie, it's just.
Oh yeah, come on, dude. It's super pathetic, man. And I agree with you. It is for public. It's for publicity purposes. Nobody likes their shitty game, so they're trying to do this. You know, I mean, that's what I'm hoping it is because if they're just pussies like that, that's even worse. You know, but you guys are kind of being pussies right now, just being real.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think there's anything more to say about that. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't want this to set a bad precedent either. Like, I hope this gets thrown out because there's no way in any rational scenario these guys should win. There's no way.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. All right. So a couple of things. So E-Man will be back on Thursday and stuff. He had a pretty good run during C2E2 and stuff. I saw him posting a bunch of pictures, getting some cool commissions. I think he was also interviewed by our boy Cicero Holmes from Spawn on Me, so be on the lookout for that. That should be a lot of fun. And that's pretty much that. So let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the comment section on the Coalition or on YouTube so we can answer them on next week's show. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also helps us support the site by donating to our Patreon page. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and the YouTubes. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at The Throwdown Show. Links, as always, are available in the description below. Once again, I was yours, Tony Polanco, and tonight joined by Chris Seeley.
Hey, good night, everyone.
And Brian Manjoba.
I still can't believe that the Earth Flat Society is actually a thing that exists.
Yes. Just like Scientologists, man, they actually exist. All right, people, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Later, people.